Coming up on Naperville News 17, last call for downtown bars could soon be earlier. Meet a new District 204 principal with ties to Hollywood. And learn the story behind a mural 4 years in the making. Hello everyone, I'm Whitney Goodbread. Thanks for joining us. A night out in Naperville could end earlier than usual. Naperville News 17's Natalie Vitale has more on a new push by city officials.
Several councilmen are considering an ordinance that would force downtown Naperville bars to close earlier.
What we're trying to do is to find a balance that will keep the downtown night scene lively, but keep the drinking situation as under control as possible.
The idea comes after numerous fights and the recent fatal accident where an intoxicated motorist drove into Quarry Lake. Typically, the bars are open till 1 a.m. on weeknights and 2 a.m. on weekends. Council members are hoping an earlier last call will cut down on the violence.
Most of the problems we have are caused by people who don't live in Naperville, so if we close down an hour or two earlier, I think that some people will be less likely to come from out of town in the first place to hang out in the bars.
However, other members of the council feel like closing early is just a temporary fix.
Some of my council members are suggesting that we adjust the hours. To me, that's a band-aid approach. That's not going to solve the problem of over-serving. The problem is enforcement.
He feels that bar management and the Liquor Commission need to take more control.
It's a privilege to have a liquor license, not a right. And if they don't toe the line, then they need to be closed for a period of time or fined. That hasn't happened.
Police presence was increased following the 2012 stabbing at Frankie's Blue Room, where local teacher Sean Wild was killed. And the Liquor Commission recently released a guidebook covering security, age verification, and intoxication. Area residents have mixed feelings about the possible ordinance.
It all depends on the type of bar and if there's more violence in a certain bar, or they need to be a little more vigilant, I would think.
I think people are just going to be like, oh, since the bar's closing so early, let's just get wasted even more.
Either they're leaving at 1:30 or 2 or 1 o'clock, they still could be intoxicated and leaving a bar. I think it might eliminate some of the super partiers.
City Council plans on discussing closing the bars earlier, as well as other options to reduce late-night crime at their upcoming August meeting. Reporting from downtown Naperville, Natalie Vitale, Naperville News 17.
Let us know your opinion on the possibility of downtown bars closing earlier on Twitter or Facebook. A state official recently made a stop in Naperville to speak to the local business community. Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White spoke to a full house at a Naperville area Chamber of Commerce luncheon held at the Chicago Marriott. White, a longtime volunteer, worked in the Chicago public school system for 33 years and has been in his current office since 1998, making him Illinois' longest-serving Secretary of State. Public service and democracy were two major topics of White's remarks.
I believe that if you don't vote, you lose your gripe rights. You cannot complain about anything in society. So I encourage everyone within the sound of my voice to come out and participate in the political process.
White also shared some of the ways his office works to make processes better for the taxpayers of Illinois, like vertical licenses for drivers under 21 and the organ donation program that can save lives. This November, White will seek re-election for a historic 5th term in the Secretary's office. For the first time in the Chamber's history, its current president and CEO is a woman. I sat down with Nikki Anderson as she hit the 6-month mark in the position to learn how it went and what is ahead for the Chamber in the future. When you hear people talk about the new Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Nikki Anderson, you hear the word passionate a lot.
What we found in Nikki was really stability, passion, and instant credibility. And we were in desperate need of that at the time because of all the turmoil that had happened before that.
The Chamber hit a rough patch last November when they mutually agreed not to renew the pending contract of then-President and CEO Mike Evans. After a little more than 2 months of reassessment and a nationwide search, the Chamber Board announced the hiring of Anderson, the first small business owner and woman to hold the position.
There's always pressure when you see a lot of turnover in a business, but you also need to have the confidence to know that, well, that was then, this is now onward and upward.
And onward she went. Officially starting in February, Anderson knew she wanted to focus on fundamentals, like building up relationships between members and her staff to help everyone get the most out of the relationship.
Even though I ran a health and fitness business, which you would say that has no correlation to the chamber world, it actually does. I don't want someone to be a paying member to the chamber and not engage. That's not my ideal member. Just like a health club. I don't want somebody joining my health club and never showing up. That's not why I'm there. I'm there to make a difference.
Anderson's positive attitude is something that hasn't gone unnoticed, both by members and the board that hired her.
In the last 6 months, we have seen an amazing injection of passion. I mean, you can't talk about Nikki without using the word passionate. She cares very much about the membership.
The fact that Anderson is the first woman in the role is a milestone in the history of the chamber. But they say, above all, Anderson was just a great fit.
We were looking for the best leader, and the best leader was a woman in this case, and that's fantastic. And I think the business world is changing, and the chamber has to reflect that change.
While Anderson is proud of the change she's already helped bring about, she still has a long list of ideas to implement, including using technology to better engage the members.
Value, relevancy, and trust. So that's what I strive to do every day with the projects that are pending and with the projects that are in the works. It's very exciting.
The Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce is one of the largest suburban chambers with more than 1,500 members. Despite extensive rain in the past months, Main Street Promenade East is on schedule to open completely by the holiday season. Builders BBM Incorporated extended their property on the north end of Main Street to add retail on the first level and offices to the second floor of the new development.
They wanted to finish out the exterior of the building during the summer months, turn over what they call the boxes for the new businesses to start doing their interior build out.
Some of the stores attached to the free Van Buren parking lot include J. Crew, Anthropologie, Frost Gelato, and Ever Eve, which will be the first to open in August. The development partnership hopes that by the time everything opens, Naperville residents will stay in their hometown for holiday shopping. While many residents have welcomed this summer's mild heat, the Park District is feeling the burn from the cool temperatures. Centennial Beach and the Park District golf courses have gotten considerably less traffic this summer than previous years. Golfers have played about 2,000 fewer rounds, and the beach has seen nearly 1,000 fewer patrons compared to last summer, another year when numbers weren't particularly good.
We are probably down as of a couple weeks ago, because we do our projections and our ranges and that, probably about $30,000 in revenue down over last year.
Despite the current struggles, McGurry predicted the Park District will still finish the summer in the black. While they are significantly down in revenue, the Park District has managed to cut costs to stay near the profit line. 1 year after traveling more than 3,000 miles by barge, truck, and crane, Fermilab's Muon G-2 magnet is now in its permanent home. The 50-foot wide electromagnet was recently moved into an experiment hall specifically designed for Fermilab's newest project. Scientists and members of the community came to watch the final part of the big move, carefully organized by national moving company Emmert International.
There are actually 3 separate rings that are spaced apart, and they can be jostled if you moved it too quickly. So we actually have accelerometers mounted on the ring in order to measure how fast it's being moved and to make sure that no G-forces, excessive G-forces are applied to it.
Expected to be up and running by 2017, the Muon G-2 will study the wobble of muons, subatomic particles with a lifetime of 2.2 millionths of a second.
We study those particles to really understand sort of the most basic building blocks of nature and how particles interact at the most fundamental level. And so you can sort of think of this large magnet as a giant racetrack that holds the particles as they spin round and round and round.
In June of 2013, the magnet garnered national attention when it traveled from Brookhaven National Laboratory in New York to Lamont by barge, and then took 3 nights to drive to Batavia, closing streets and interstates along the way. To build a new electromagnet would have cost Fermilab about $30 million, but by moving it, the cost was only about $3 million. Scientists plan to plug in and test the magnet next spring before going ahead with the project. Still to come, meet the new leader of the Metea Valley Mustangs.
Come explore all that downtown Naperville has to offer. Over 150 excellent shops and restaurants, from national favorites to one-of-a-kind treasures. And with plenty of special events each season, there's something for everyone to enjoy in downtown Naperville.
What makes a house a home? A good realtor like Dan Ferks knows it's different for everyone. Whether it's a large kitchen with room for everyone at the table, a master bedroom that's welcoming to the whole family, or a large play area in the basement with extra space for mom and dad. And for those rare moments without the kids, a formal dining room to entertain guests or have a romantic dinner for two. Dan Ferks takes the time to get to know what matters to his clients. He's their realtor for life.
We wanted to become customers at Naperville Bank and Trust because we wanted to have some sort of a community feel in our banking.
And we wanted to come someplace that really cherished their relationships and took the time to invest in us as customers rather than just as an account with money in it. It's very convenient for me to come to the downtown location. It's right in the center of town. We've got a great parking lot that's dedicated just to this bank as well as the post office nearby.
They can do everything that a big bank can.
And do it a little bit better.
If you're one of the 50 million Americans who suffer from allergies, this year has been a rough one. Because of the harsh winter weather, some bushes, trees, and flowers bloomed later than usual, causing many things to bloom at the same time, driving up pollen counts. Mix that in with the rain we've seen, and you have the perfect recipe for harsh summer allergies.
Taking a shower before bed often helps when you're outside. You can wear sunglasses to help the allergens, to help avoid them getting into your eyes. A wide brim hat will also help just protect your face from some allergens.
There is some good news for allergy sufferers. Next winter is forecasted to be a mild one due to the onset of El Nino, which means blooming shouldn't be delayed and next year's allergy season won't be nearly as bad. More than 250 people recently made strides in the fight against pancreatic cancer. For the fourth year, area residents participated in the Pancreatic Cancer Research Walk benefiting the Lustgarten Foundation, a not-for-profit that works to raise funds and support for pancreatic cancer research. Currently, a person's chance of being diagnosed with the disease is 1 in 78. So one of the areas the foundation is currently focusing on is early detection.
I have 4 children, and it's probably genetically linked, and I would like them to have an opportunity to be screened in their 20s and 30s.
When the walk started, the group had raised over $30,000. Donations will be accepted online until the end of the year. For more information, visit lustgarden.org/donate. For the second time this year, Dine Naperville has gathered a host of restaurants to run specials all around town. From August 3rd through the 7th, participating restaurants will offer either a prefix menu option or enticing weekday specials. Some of the returning locations included are Mongolian Barbecue, Jimmy's, and Catch 35.
The restaurants were so happy with the success. They had increased business. A lot of people were able to come out and try new restaurants at affordable prices and experience some of the treats that Naperville has to offer.
The event in February brought people from all different communities into town, and Dine Naperville is hoping for the same outcome this time around. For a full list of participating restaurants and their specials, visit dinenaperville.com/participating restaurants. Live from Aurora, it's Metea Valley's new principal. Daryl Eccles used to be a professional actor with parts on SNL and The Cosby Show, but his latest role is the leader of the Mustangs. Naperville News 17's Charlie Edward has more.
There's an emptiness about Metea Valley in the midst of summer, but behind these seemingly quiet corners and the striking sounds of preparation, through the hallways a new beginning looms for the students and...
How you doing? No, you're fine.
The new principal, Daryl Eccles.
Well, it's my first job as a high school principal. I've been middle school principal for 4 years, and I was a principal at an intermediate school in Plainfield for 2 years.
25 years ago, the thought of teaching had not crossed his mind. Back then, Eccles was a production assistant on The Cosby Show and appeared in 2 episodes.
Hi, I'm Harriet Waters, Action News, and this is my cameraman, Wayne Urich.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Huxtable. This is my husband, Dr. Huxtable.
I've had kids come up to me and with their iPads and say, here you are on YouTube, you know, that kind of thing.
Do you have the reverse angles?
I have it all. I think we're finished.
Okay, we've got to hit the road.
Minor spots on The Cosby Show and Saturday Night Live highlighted Eccles' acting career. And after pushing so far into the field, letting go of the dream was difficult to accept.
And I went out to California for a little bit and knocked around, but I couldn't really get anything to stick. And I will say I'm not somebody who's good when he's not working.
From the theater to the classroom, Darryl Eccles is used to dealing with new environments. And that's no different at Mattia Valley.
I would pass out flyers from The Cosby Show and autograph pictures. Nice meeting you. Take care. And kind of tell kids, stay in school, you know, get your education, that type of thing. And it was through those experiences that I was able to make connections with kids. And I said in the back of my mind, you know, maybe one day I'll try this thing.
Eccles got his first teaching job in Bellwood at Lincoln Elementary before moving on to District 204.
I'm excited about a new beginning here, and I hope that everyone else will be excited too.
The hallways may be quiet now, but it won't be long before they're filled with more than 700 incoming freshmen. Reporting from Mattia Valley, Charlie Edward, Naperville News 17.
While it's a new chapter in the life of Principal Eccles, his introduction is also the lead-in to another chapter in the history of Mattia Valley, where classes begin on August 26th. After the break, Naperville's bests are revealed. Stay with us.
Opal showed us the Anderson window. High quality, looks fantastic. Pair it up with the Hardy siding and huge transformation. We wanted a Hardy preferred contractor, and we wanted someone local. You met the criteria for both. The crew itself was fantastic. The work ethic, you just don't see. It was just a great experience.
Stainmaster Carpet, on sale now at FCA.
I've shopped at FCA for years, and I've always ended up with beautiful carpeting.
Here's what I tell people about FCA. They gave us ideas that made sense for our budget, what would work best for resale, and what fit into our lifestyle.
They follow through on everything they promised.
I wouldn't go anywhere else.
Stainmaster Carpet, on sale now at FCA in Naperville.
Come explore beautiful Cantini Park in Wheaton, a 500-acre local treasure. Stroll through the vast Cantini Gardens and tour the elegant former home of Colonel Robert R. McCormick. Be sure to visit the history-rich 1st Division Museum, too. Cantini also offers a scenic 27-hole golf course, the Cantini Golf Academy, and a 9-hole course just for kids. Cantini is a favorite place for banquets, weddings, and other activities throughout the year. Cantini Park, a world of beauty, history, and family fun, is just around the corner.
Familiar faces are starting to pop up on downtown walls as the Naperville Loves a Parade mural is almost complete. Naperville News 17's Kristen Gitchell has more.
You're never alone on Main Street these days, thanks to the newest addition to the Century Walk. Naperville Loves a Parade stretches 12 feet along the neighboring alley called Rubens Way and features about 275 locals watching the Parade of the Century on the opposite wall.
You're not going to see this just anywhere. The detail, if you go over and look and see, these are portraits of the people, the animals, the buildings, their replicas. Our artists are outstanding. And if you know somebody and they happen to be in the mural, you will have no trouble recognizing them.
The faces that appear are a result of donations from families and about 100 businesses around Naperville that wanted to be drawn into history. Over $220,000 has been collected, which has helped to fund the mural. This 4-year project came together at the hands of 3 artists, including one who has a personal connection to the mural.
We're on the tractors, so we're kind of representing the farming heritage that Naperville is, because my ancestors settled here in like the middle 1800s, and my mom and dad are in the front, and I'm painting my dad's hat, which has the Listen Farm on it.
The Rockwellian style of the mural allows for fun features to be placed throughout, including a Naperville version of Where's Waldo, having resident Greg Haldeman's face hidden 15 to 25 times for people to search for.
There's nothing like this, and this will draw people, and I think they'll keep coming back. They'll see what changes, if any, have happened or what's occurred, and want to bring their friends. This will be a great draw and puts people right in the middle of the downtown.
The dedication ceremony for Naperville Loves a Parade will be on Labor Day. Once the mural is dedicated, Century Walk hopes to further improve the alley by repaving it, possibly closing it, and adding benches for everyone to enjoy the parade. I'm Kristen Gitchell for Naperville News 17.
There is still time to include yourself in the historic mural. Visit centurywalk.org for more information. The latest trends in home design are now on display in South Naperville. For the first time since 2008, the Cavalcade of Homes has returned to town. The event is put on by the Northern Illinois Home Builders Association and includes 6 homes in Ashwood Park that visitors can walk through to get ideas for their own homes. Crestview Builders, James Scott Design and Build, Kings Court Builders, and Overstreet Builders, Inc. design the homes, making each one different with designs ranging from modern to country. With price tags ranging from $700,000 to $1 million, the goal isn't to just outright sell the homes, but also to create relationships between the companies and future home buyers.
There's obviously a lot of people who have no intention of building new construction. They're either hobbyists, HGTV addicts. Yes, there are a lot of people looking at remodeling, and of course, we're looking to cater to those who are looking to build for new construction, but we're open to all sorts.
A one-day pass is $12 at the gate and $10 online. The homes will be on display through August 17th. Naperville is a town filled with food, entertainment, and fabulous shopping. But where can you find the best of the best? Naperville News 17's Natalie Vitale has the golden ticket to this year's Best of Naperville Awards.
The red carpet was rolled out for the sold-out show at the Hotel Arista. This was the 6th year Naperville Magazine hosted the Best of Naperville Awards. To kick things off, Mayor Pradle won a surprise honorary award for Best Mayor.
I'm kind of overwhelmed at this, but I'm very happy. So I needed that little nudge, I think. So thank you.
Sullivan Steakhouse defended their titles for Best Martini and Best Romantic Restaurant, and Brizon Couture is the place to shop in town, taking home the awards for Best Boutique and Accessory Store.
It feels amazing. We have won these awards for 3 years in a row, and we could not be more honored than to, win this from our customers. It's so special for us.
Voting took place online from December to June. The votes were tallied, leading up to the biggest party of the summer. CBS's Mary Kay Kleiss and Dave Savini emceed the evening, with portions of the proceeds benefiting Aaron Moore Arts. Reporting from the Hotel Arista, Natalie Vitale, Naperville News 17.
You can find the full list of winners and recap of the event all in the August issue of Naperville Magazine. Up next, we'll have a look at local sports action. Stay with us.
Get ready for one last fling of the summer. Join family and friends this Labor Day weekend for great food, fun games, exciting rides, and live music. Main stage bands include Aura, OAR, Vertical Horizon, and Smash Mouth. The Last Fling starts Friday, August 29th and runs through Labor Day, September 1st. Visit lastfling.org for full details.
Tour down memory lane with the Naperville Trolley.
Join us for a 1-hour historic tour throughout Naperville, or book your own special event. Bring your friends and come aboard the Naperville Trolley.
This sports segment of Naperville News 17 is brought to you by your local YMCA. For youth development, for healthy living, for social responsibility.
Bennett Academy and Notre Dame graduate Mike Lee remains perfect in professional boxing. He put his 12-0 record on the line last week when he went toe-to-toe with Paul Gonzalez at the USC Pavilion in Chicago. Gonzalez gives Lee one of the toughest challenges of his pro career, resulting in his smallest margin of victory yet. In the end, Lee earns a majority decision, outscoring his opponent 58-56 on 2 of the judges' scorecards and tying 57-57 on the other. Lee stays perfect, and Gonzalez drops to 7-4. Lee's already a big name in pro sports, but another local athlete is trying to get his foot in the door, so to speak. Kicker Mitch Ewald parlayed a standout career at Waubonsie Valley into 4 great seasons with the Indiana Hoosiers, and he recently signed on with the NFL's Denver Broncos. Ewald says he's thrilled to share a playing field with stars like Peyton Manning, Wes Welker, and Demaryius Thomas.
It's an amazing experience when you really sit back and look at it. You have nothing but smiles on your face and happy thoughts, and this is a great opportunity for me. I'm in a great organization.
The Broncos already have one of the NFL's top kickers in Matt Prater, and most teams only carry one during the regular season. Ewald knows this, but isn't letting it affect his approach in camp.
I'm getting the same amount of reps as Prater right now, and if I'm being honest, we're kicking very, very similar. There's days where I beat him out, or some days where he hits a few better balls than me.
Ewald says if he's cut from the Broncos' final roster, he's confident he can use that experience to land a gig with another NFL team. Every year, the city of Naperville becomes a go-to destination for girls lacrosse players across the country. The Indian Prairie Showdown was a modest event when it began in 2006 when 12 teams played, but this past weekend 97 squads participated in the 3-day tournament.
It's just kind of come full circle from a local kind of Chicago area club tournament to attracting teams from really all over the country.
Teams come primarily from the Midwest states looking to test their skills against opponents they don't see any other time of the year. The tough competition is a huge incentive, but so is the event audience.
We have over 70 college coaches actively recruiting these girls, so it's really good exposure, and I think that has helped bring more of the club teams in.
It's a good location even for the teams. It's not East Coast, it's not a flight, it's a drive. That's a huge difference. And it's a really nice area. There's a lot to do. Chicago really pulls a lot of people.
Neuqua Valley's summer team, the Gold Rush, has the shortest trip out of anyone. The event is held at Frontier Park directly behind the Neuqua campus. Players say the tournament presents a completely unique challenge.
You don't have like another tournament where you can have so many opportunities to play against well-matched teams, and it's so nice to see how the younger girls are coming in.
I think it's good for our school, Neuqua Valley, to be playing harder teams. Gives us more of a challenge.
The event attendance has increased substantially throughout the years, and organizers expect more than 100 teams to participate in 2015. That's all for sports. Back to you, Whitney.
Thanks, Zach. And finally, Centennial Beach was recently turned into a boat marina, all in the name of charity. The first ever Float Your Boat for a Cause event, sponsored by 95.9 The River, pitted station on-air personalities and staff against one another in a cardboard boat race. Each of the 5 participants chose a charity and tried to win their organization free exposure on the river's airwaves. Co-host of McKay in the Morning, Danielle Tafano, won both bragging rights and $5,000 of advertising for the Naperville JCs, for which she is a board member.
We're going to use it to promote the Last Fling, which is coming up over Labor Day weekend, to help spread the word a little bit, get the word out and about to make sure everybody knows what's coming up.
For participating, the other 4 charities received $2,000 in exposure on the river as well.
I think we're really going to use that to promote some of our programs, some of the specialized counseling programs that we do and some of those things, because we don't have a chance to ever get those on the air.
The River said they were pleased with how the event went and are already planning for next year. That's your News Naperville. I'm Whitney Goodbread. Thanks for watching.
This week's Naperville News 17 is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. This program is partially funded by a grant from the City of Naperville.